Hello, and welcome to another episode of Yarn Talk. My name is Sarah, and my channel is Knotty Gnome Crafts. My channel is all about the textile crafts that I love, like sewing, knitting, spinning, and crochet. So if that interests you, please keep watching. It's Vlogtober, which means that I am going to be bringing you a new video every day for the month of October, and today's video is going to be all about my yarny crafts. I have decided that because knitting and spinning, they're slower crafts than sewing, I don't have a lot of new material to be showing you every week, so I'm planning to bring you an episode of Yarn Talk every other week on Mondays. So in today's video, I do have a finished skein of yarn to show you, and I have some projects that I'm working on, and then I'm going to show you what I'm planning to start after I finish those projects. So let's just get started. Oh, before I forget, I'm wearing my Swift River cardigan, which is knit out of Madeline Tosh Sport. I think I've worn this cardigan in like a third of my videos. It's really chilly today, and so I needed to throw that on over my t-shirt, which is the Tessuti Mandy Boat Tee. Okay, so my finished skein of yarn is the Bond Fiber Organic Polworth that I had been working on over the past few weeks. It's a 2-ply yarn. It's a light fingering weight. I ended up with about 450 yards and 97 grams, which is a little bit thinner than I expected it to be. It's funny, when you first start spinning, like your initial yarns are just really thick and fat, and you spend all this time and effort into getting your yarn more even and thinner so that you can produce thinner yarns. And then over the years, what happens is that you can't make thicker yarns anymore, or at least I can't, or it's hard. And so I try to make my yarns a little bit thicker, but they always seem to end up being fingering weight or even lighter. But anyway, so I do like the way that this yarn turned out. I think the colors are really lovely. And I am actually going to be sending this yarn to a friend of mine because I am out the wazoo with Handspun yarn. And I can't possibly knit it all, and so yeah, I think I'm just going to share this with someone who I think will get some joy out of it. So since I finished that skein of yarn, it was time to start on my sweater spin. I had posted a video about my fall and winter knitting plans, and I'm actually starting to think that that might have been a curse because I haven't really started any of them until today, actually. But I did start on my Falkland sweater spin. So I really want to make a classic Aran sweater with the cables, and I decided to spin my own yarn for that. So I am going to just insert a photo because I didn't want to take the bobbin off of the wheel. I started spinning up this morning my Falkland undyed yarn, fiber into yarn, and I'm just going to do a 3-ply yarn. So I have broken up the fiber into about 2-ounce pieces, and I'm going to spin 2 ounces per bobbin, fill up as many bobbins as I possibly can, and then do a 3-ply and just do that as many times as I have to until I run out of fiber. I have 1.5 pounds of fiber. And I'm really excited about starting this project right now. I am a little bit worried that I'm going to get bored with it because the fiber is undyed, and so you are just basically looking at the same thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. Whereas with this yarn, the color changes, and so that kind of keeps your attention, seeing like, oh, how are the colors going to combine? And it's a little bit more interesting, whereas undyed fiber can be a very dull spin. So I hope that I can sustain this. I do think that what's going to keep me motivated is how badly I want that Aran sweater. So yeah, that's what I've been working on for spinning. And if I didn't say so, I'm spinning it on my Majacraft Rose. So the knitting project that I'm working on, I'm very, very close to being finished with my Halloween socks. So the last time I showed it to you, I left in the stitch marker. So I apparently had not gotten that far. I was only on the leg here. So I did finish the first sock, and I'll bring it in close so you can see the texture. I did the Blueberry Waffles pattern, which is a very simple stitch pattern, but it looks really pretty in hand-dyed variegated yarn. So that's the first sock, and then I am on the foot of the second sock. And as I said, I'm really close to being finished with this. So I am probably going to be done with this within the next day or so, I would imagine. And that was just a fun little detour. I was digging through my stash and I found a skein of Halloween specific yarn, and it's the perfect time of year for that. So I just went ahead and succumbed to my whims and cast on for a pair of socks, even though I don't need any more socks. So even though I know that I really need to be starting on my fall and winter garment knitting plans if I'm going to get anything done by the time winter's over, I am going to, after I finish the socks, I'm going to make one more detour, and I think this one will be quick. I really want to knit myself a beret because I have this weird relationship with berets, but like right now at this point in time, I have the right hair to wear a beret. So I want to make a beret so that I can get some wear out of it before my hair gets much longer. And mostly why I'm doing this is I really wanted to knit with some of my Handspun because it's been a little while since I've done that. So I have this Hello Yarn Handspun. It is approximately a worsted weight. I spun this up a really long time ago, so I honestly don't remember what the content is. It's some sort of wool, and it's reasonably soft. I don't even want to guess because I can't remember what this was. But I do know that this is actually frogged. I had knit a shawl out of this, combining it with another skein of Hello Yarn Handspun, and I didn't like the shawl. So because it's Handspun and Handspun is very precious to me, I didn't want to just donate the shawl, so I ripped it out. I took the time and frogged it and re-caked the yarn so that I can reuse it again later. And I just love these neutral colors. I think that they're really beautiful, and I think that they'll look nice against my dark hair. I have this weird thing about I don't like knitting black hats because I feel like it just blends in with my hair and it looks funny. But this is neutral but still different, so it contrasts with my hair, and I think that it'll make a really cute beret. So I'm actually planning to do like the most simple, basic stockinette beret. My guess is that I could actually have that done certainly the next time I film a yarn talk. I would assume that I will have finished this project. And then after this, I swear I really am going to start one of my garments for fall and winter. I still don't know which one. Right now I'm leaning towards doing the vest, but I really hope by the next time that I film one of these videos, I will have started my garments for fall and winter. So that's really it for my yarny projects. And the only thing that I wanted to leave you guys with is a podcast recommendation. So I am basically obsessed with the Elizabeth Holmes story. I don't know if you guys are, but when all of the stuff with Theranos was coming out, I listened to all the podcasts and I read the book Bad Blood by John Carreyrou. I watched the documentary on HBO. I was just obsessed with the story, and of course now she's actually at trial. And so there's a new-ish podcast that's out called Bad Blood, the Final Chapter, and it is by John Carreyrou, so the same man who wrote the book. So it's kind of a sequel, a follow-up to the book, and I've just been listening to all the episodes while I've been sewing and knitting, and it's a really great podcast. I think that in general, the author is just a very good storyteller, and I really enjoyed listening to the book, and so the podcast is just kind of a continuation of that. So if you are at all interested in the Theranos saga, I highly recommend checking out that podcast and also the book if you're interested in that. And I think that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.